Hey, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back. This is Tiffany with Meet the Trainers, and I am very, very excited to introduce you to Mr. Scott Oates, who I once got to call my baby daddy, but that's another story.
That's a great story.
It is a great story, but that's an inside story that we don't have time for today. So instead, we'll just stick to our Meet the Trainers game plan. So, Scott, for those who don't know you, tell us who you are.
How you doing? I'm Scott Oates. I am a former SEAL, martial artist. I've been training and teaching martial arts for probably about 30 years now. I've been doing it professionally for about almost 20 now, and really mostly Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a fourth degree black belt under Salo Ribeiro and Shanji Ribeiro. So they're for those people that don't know who they are, they're multi-time world champions and very, very highly ranked in legends in the jiu-jitsu world. So and I've been teaching and training with Craig Douglas of ShivWorks for literally almost 8 years to the day now.
All
And
right.
when I found Craig and ShivWorks, it changed my perspective on all things martial arts, guns, shootings, weapons, fighting with weapons, all that kind of stuff. And
Greg
from,
has that effect on people.
oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, ECQC did, which
Yeah.
extreme close quarter concepts is a class that will doesn't matter what your pedigree is, they'll take you into deep waters and help finds your vulnerabilities and exposes you to what you're least comfortable in and then helps you work through it in a professional, safe, setting, which is something that I had, basically not really concentrated on for a long time and what I was teaching and training and everything was all jujitsu centric and it really focused on just you know does what's the answer? Well, the answer is in jujitsu and I got to find that answer in jujitsu, and that's how I approached everybody that I taught and everybody that I trained and all that kind of stuff. And so the contextualized things that we teach in ShivWorks kind of just reshape my whole mentality, my whole um, perspective, if you will, on real world events. And a lot of people, use self-defense as a catch-all, and I think of it more of a real world situation versus a sport or just even a fighting situation. And there's a lot of people out there that think that, you know, you learn jujitsu, you learn how to fight, you know how to handle yourself in a real world event. And that's just not the case in a lot of cases. And people get surprised and sometimes embarrassed and sometimes worse. So hopefully, you're not on the end of that, it's definitely ShivWorks was a humbling experience for me, and it's really shaped how I teach and do things now. So
That's probably the word I hear associated with ECQC more than any other, humbling.
oh yeah,
But
definitely.
but
Like I
that's
said, it doesn't matter who you are.
yeah, yeah, it's true. But that's a great segue into your block at TACCON because you now for a couple of years in a row, I believe, have been teaching a combatives block in the hands-on bay called Grounded Weapons Fighting. And I'm really glad that I was able to schedule a Meet the Trainers interview with you because I really want to unpack that. We've got over 30% first-time TACCON attendees this year.
Oh wow.
And so, for anybody who thinks that they have to have your credentials to take your class, I'd love for you to, explain more what the class is about, what you'll learn, and who the class is made for.
Right. This class is really for the beginner. You do not have to have any experience whatsoever. That's not to say that you're not going to learn something, but
Right.
this is even if you're a black belt, you will learn something in this class if you've never taken it before, or if you've never taken ECQC. But what we teach in ECQC and in ShivWorks EWO, which is the Edge Weapons Overview version of the handgun course, is pretty much the grounded module. That's what I'm going to focus on. And our grounded module is really contextualized and it really teaches you survival on the ground. And that's what it is. It's not, I'm not going to make you a black belt in 2 hours or whatever I have with you, that's not really my goal. My goal is to help you get some sort of basic understanding of what your strategy should be, what you should be looking to do when you find yourself in a situation where you're on the ground. Maybe you have a gun, maybe you have a knife, maybe your attacker has a gun, maybe they have a knife. You don't know what you're going to be in for, and you don't know what you're up against. Maybe there's more than one attacker. Maybe it's just you and the guy. You don't know. So you have to assume the worst and hope for the best. And so what my class is designed to do is to teach people how zero to get home, right? And that's a term that Brian Frias, who's one of our instructors as well, uses a lot, and I'm stealing it from him. But zero to get home. We're not, it's a 70% solution. It's not
Right.
100%. You want the other 30, it takes a lifetime. But
Well,
you
and
know,
real quick before we wrap, Scott, I'd love for you to talk just briefly about, what do you say to folks who say, well, I don't need that because I don't plan on fighting on the ground. If somebody challenges me, I'm going to pull my gun and or my pepper spray or what have you, and I'm going to stay on my 2 feet. What's your response to
well, so my response to that is anything can happen, and you're right. Your goal should be to stay on your feet. Your goal should be to stay standing. And if you find yourself on the ground, your goal should be to get up. And we use like ECQC's extreme close quarters concepts. Well, I call our grounded module really GTFU, get the F up, and
that?
really that's our strategy. That's what we're doing, getting the F up. And I'll keep it PG, but when we're there, if I cuss, please don't, I was a sailor, so you gotta give me a little bit of leeway.
No,
But
you're
no, honestly, that's our strategy, and it's very simple. It's very, very down base,
Mhm.
down and dirty basics. It's get up and get back to your feet, because whether you tripped, you slipped, you're backed off a curb, somebody, freshman scumbag technique walks you off the back of a curb, you trip, you fall, you're in the middle of the street, your day's confused, and somebody's crawling all over you, whether they know what they're doing or not, you are out of sorts because you just found yourself on the ground. Maybe there's a second guy coming in. You don't know. You got to get up, and you've got to protect yourself, protect your weapon. If you've got a weapon on you, you don't want them taking it off you. So all these things we go into, and really, like I said, this isn't, it's a surprise attack a lot of times, and you don't, I mean, the best case scenario is you walk into the 7-Eleven, you see the dude robbing it when you're at the refrigerators in the back, and you're able to go around the corner and time your shot perfectly, and that's your self-defense real world situation that you deal with. But that's not always the case, right?
It is.
So, you know,
Definitely. Well, I
anyway,
appreciate that. No, that's super helpful. I just want to make sure that we're clear on what to expect here. And I highly encourage anybody who's the least bit interested to check out this block. It's on Friday morning in the hands-on bay, and there's 2 iterations of it. So you've got 2 chances to train with Scott. And I would just re-emphasize what he said about prior experience being irrelevant. If you are the world's most celebrated jits guru, or if you feel like you're out of shape and arthritic and you have no place in the world of martial arts, there's something in this class for you and for
baby giraffes.
everybody
We
in between.
call people that can't get up, baby giraffes. So if you feel like you're a baby giraffe, this is the class for you. Unfortunately, we don't have Cecil doing his thing this year to kind of take the baby giraffe out of people, but I'm going to go into all of it. So I promise you, it is for everyone, and you will have fun too. Joke around a
Yes,
lot. We take what we do seriously, but we don't take ourselves serious. So it's a good time. It's a good class, and I promise you, you'll have fun, and you will walk away with knowledge, whether you're, like she said, whether you're a absolute guru on the ground or you've never been on the ground ever in your life. So you will get something out
fantastic.
of
I
it, I
love it.
promise.
And sorry, I'm just going to add one more quick thing. What I love about Scott and the whole ShiftWorks collective is these are very specialized techniques that you'll be learning, but they're taking them out of some of the artificialities of the ring, as it were, and putting them in real world context so that they're a lot more applicable outside of the competition space, if you will. And most importantly, they are extremely safety conscious.
Oh yeah.
So there's plenty of people that you can go to who will teach you how to grapple. But if they're just throwing you on the floor and there's no safety, there's no recognition of what where the boundaries are for, our bodies, then that's a dangerous situation. Scott and all of his team, they really are experts at understanding the limits of the human body and the abilities of the human body. Plus, we're working on mats. We'll have a coverage from the elements. So it's a very, very safe environment to whether you're introducing yourself to these kinds of skills or whether you're coming to get a new perspective after having trained in jits all your life. So, all right, I'm done singing the praises of my
Thank
baby
you.
daddy. I'll
Thank you,
let it
Tiffany.
I'll let it
I
fly
do
there.
I do have a couple of things.
Yeah,
If you have your own shape or any kind of handgun that you want to bring that's an inert trainer, whatever, and you've got a holster for it, if you want to bring that, that's great. We'll be going into all that stuff and the retention of your weapon and that kind of thing. So if you want to bring those to the table or bring those to the class, definitely do so. We'll have some there as well, but if that's something that you've got on your own, please bring it. And
yeah,
if you've got holsters that work with a Glock 17 or 19, I think that we'll have some trainers there. Hopefully, Craig will have all our trainers there and stuff like that. So our T guns. So you should be able to we'll be able to use those as well.
cool.
But anyway, should be fun, and I hope to see
Will
you
be
guys there. And yeah, trust me, I've taught little old ladies how to get up off the
fun.
ground. I really have.
I
I like
believe you. No, I
80,
believe
80-year-old women who have no business getting off the ground. Once they're there, it's kind of like, okay, I'm here for a while. I've fallen, I can't get up. I've taught people how to get up, so I can
Yes, I
teach you
100%,
way
and I
better.
can vouch for that. I've actually worked Evos with Scott where I had a torn meniscus, and Scott was able to like make the Evo realistic, even though I was in searing pain, and he just made it all work. So that was fantastic. Thank you for that last bit about the trainers.
Hmm.
Also, folks, on that note, and this goes for everything that happens in the hands-on bay, all the combative stuff. We will have an RSO assigned to the hands-on bay this year who will help the training teams to get everybody disarmed. So there's no shooting in the hands-on bay, but we're trying to cut down on, people running to their car and trying to stash guns and that sort of thing. Guns and hurrying almost never mix well. So just come on to the hands-on bay and we will take care of getting you getting your gear sorted out as needed. So
And then
thanks again.
then the hands-on bay has the hands-on pat
Yes,
down and all that kind of
you
stuff. So
will
that's
be
fun.
patted
That's a
down.
lot of
So
people love that. That's their favorite part of the class is the pat down.
oh yes, that's fun. Always fun.
Yeah, we have a
All
good
right.
time with the pat down. So
Oh
this is
yeah.
good. We
Uh-huh.
make sure everybody is free and clear of all anything real.
Yeah.
So
And like
and
I
on
said,
that note,
safety is
just
a thing.
yeah, exactly. And on that note, where there is no simunition firing, any kind of that kind of thing. There's none of that. We do that in some of our courses, but this is not. We don't have time for that on in this short amount of time that we have
Gotcha.
with you guys.
Cool. So non-firing inerts only.
Correct.
Sounds
Well, they can
good.
be firing. They just have to be with not with we can have the trainers, but just not with actual simunition.
We will
So
not be firing. How about
correct.
that? Awesome. All right.
Yes.
Thanks, Scott. Again, I know you've had a crazy day today. I appreciate you taking the time, and
Thank
I
you
will
for
see
doing
you
this.
in Dallas.
I can't wait.